therapist assistant and the CEO of Rock Solid Fitness, and I'm super excited to be sharing 3 shoulder exercises to improve and prevent common shoulder injuries. We okay here? Yep. As you know, the shoulder joint is it's a ball and socket joint. It's the most unstable joint in the human body. It has a large humeral head and a glenoid fossa that it barely fits into. It's not weight bearing and it's fighting gravity all day long. So it's very common for shoulder injuries to occur, and they're usually tricky to resolve. The most common shoulder injuries that we see are overuse sprains and strains, especially of the rotator cuff and the bicep tendon. So when it comes to exercise programming at Rock Solid Fitness, our litmus test is this question: is the risk worth the reward? If the answer is no, then we don't do it. So there's 2 things I want to go over with you before I talk about the 3 exercises. And that is to avoid overhead pressing motions in a closed pack position, which is 90 degrees of abduction and complete external rotation, such as behind the neck press, upright rows and lateral raises where the elbow comes above the shoulder. The second is don't overstretch the structures, especially when loading the joint concentrically. This really was brought home to me about 7 years ago when one of our coaches felt we were just too strict with our shoulder protocols, especially when it came to the stretch on pec fly, chest press, and dips. You guys know how you like that stretch. Well, after much debate, I reluctantly backed off of our protocols. Within 2 months, we had a huge spike in shoulder pain complaints. When we went back to our old ways, those complaints went away. So the goal of these 3 exercises is to provide proper alignment and stability in a very mobile environment. We do that by concentrating on the smaller, deeper muscles of the joint. This will provide a joint space where the vulnerable tissues can move around without irritation. The first 2 exercises I'm going to share with you are external rotation and horizontal abduction, concentrating on the supraspinatus muscle and the rear deltoid muscle. These muscles bring the humeral head up and back into the shoulder joint. They would create a better joint space for things to move around without being irritated. You can see we've accomplished this here by placing a towel under Dave's elbow. Creating an open position is really important when you're doing rotation exercises. An open position is about 55 degrees of horizontal abduction and 30 degrees of flexion. So that's why that towel is there. We also cut up pool noodles and put pool noodles under someone's elbow. You can use other things like a water bottle. Of course, horizontal abduction can be accomplished on the rear deltoid machine, but we find if someone has a chronic issue or is acutely inflamed, that if we lay them prone, we have them do what we call shoulder tees, just using their body weight, it works really well. And of course, you can progress this with dumbbells, and manual resistance works really well also. Shoulder depression is the 3rd exercise. This concentrates on the lower trapezius muscle. We like to do this on our pull-down machine because you can get a really great stretch of the lower trap. We simply ask our clients to just try and pull their scapulas down and together without bending their elbow. Most people cannot contract their low trap. You can see that's not the case here with James. A very advanced exercise for this would be to lay prone and do what we call shoulder wides. Again, that's advanced. If someone's shoulder is inflamed, it's not a great idea. So just to recap what we talked about, stick to what you know works. Try to promote proper alignment with good posture and by strengthening those deeper muscles of the shoulder, and then avoid overstretching. Thank you.